look for these learners that were not yet enrolled, i-appeal na to sa reporting karon. Kaya anyway, ang encoding mag-start pa man sa pag-start sa school year sa modified learners will be formed final enrollment, may atong basis sa final enrollment. Again, we don't want our schools to experience niya kanang dili insaktong budget pa eskwelahan kay wa ta ka reflect sa insaktong enrollment. Ang basis ana ang example ana katong last school year nato nga mga eskwelahan, not in the region 7 but in other regions, that they were able to submit their enrollment late, but it's not anymore included in the budget. So we try to we cannot afford that one or two of our schools will be experiencing this particular this experience by other schools in the country. Okay, so my next slide is outlining the activities for the entire school year. Please click so you can. While August 13 to September 13 is the enrollment period, please click so you can.
Yes, sir.
Let's not wait for August or September 15 nga makumpleto itong karon na daan ato na silang pangitaon kay aron maka-reflect ang insaktong enrollment niya aron makadawat sa tag insaktong resources from the Department of Education. So hoping that this reminder will be able to the school heads will also remind our teachers especially to look for our students nga wa pa na-enroll aron matagaan sila budget from the national government. Okay? Next slide, please. Now, let's proceed to the citizen starter. Of course, we want to also remind our schools to revisit the citizen starter, considering that we are delivering services not as regular as before, nga wa pang padili pa pandemic. So, ang atong transaction sa atong mga clientele sa general public, ang ato rong kay dili man kay na face to face, let us also revisit and modify or amend the basic services that we are providing to our community, especially the things that are requested by the students, the parents, and the teachers and the community. Now, may I remind you of the anti-red tape authority, and this reminder comes with the input and update on how to do it. So you can. Okay. This is so what we knew is that okay. This is the joint memorandum circular number 2019-001 signed by Civil Service Commission, Anti-Red Tape Authority, and the Department of Industries and the DTI. This is a joint memorandum circular, and that was issued to the field in 2019. Next, please. That in that particular resolution, the Republic Act number 9485, otherwise known as the Anti-Red Tape Act of 2007, was enacted on June 2, 2007 to eliminate red tape and to simplify frontline service procedure, formulate service standards to observe in every transaction, and make known these standards to the client. Whereas the Republic Act number 11032, otherwise known as the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act of 2018, was enacted on May 28, 2018, amending Republic Act number 9485 to provide a program for the adoption of simplified requirements and procedures that will reduce the red tape and expedite business and non-business related transactions in the government. So I would like to encourage all the deputy officials, the school heads, the PSDSs, to read the Republic Act number 11-11032, because this law amends the Republic Act 9485, 9485, enacted in June 2007. Next slide, please. So this is the highlight of our discussion. Under Section 1 of the of that Act 11-110 something, a citizen charter is an official document that communicates In simple terms, to serve service standards or pledge of an agency service office of the frontline service being provided to its citizens. It describes the step-by-step procedure for availing a particular service, the person responsible for each step, the documents needed to be submitted, and the fees to be paid if any. The Citizens Charter of each agency has a dual purpose. It shall serve as the basis for establishing accountability and for recognizing good performance to grant rewards and incentives. Administrative and criminal liability shall arise only upon failure without due cause to render government service within the prescribed processing time of 3 days for simple transaction, 7 days for complex transaction, and 20 working days for highly technical transaction or for application or request involving activities which pose danger to public health, public safety, public morals, and public policy as stated in Section 9 of this Act. Now, a reminder lang para sa tatanan that Citizens Charter has already been was already required as part of the saningan. Ato Citizens Charter is requirement for us to receive the performance-based bonus. So if we are failure to come up with this Citizens Charter, we might not be eligible for the PBB for this particular year 2021. No? So it's an opportunity, it's an opportune time for all of us to revisit our anti-red tape, our Citizens Charter, because again, we're in the time, we are in this time, the pandemic period, that we are providing services to the general public and to the students and teachers that we have in our school in a different way. Now, next slide, please. Later on, we will discuss the template that we will be using for this Citizens Charter. Next slide, Sir Ken, please. So, for the purpose of our discussion this afternoon, I just selected some terms as defined by the Republic Act as very important terms for our discussion. Red tape, it refers to any regulation, rule, or administrative procedure or system that is ineffective or detrimental in achieving its intended objectives and as a result produces low, suboptimal, and undesirable social outcomes. That is red tape. Simple transaction, because in the Department of Education, especially in the different schools, we only do simple transactions. Our community, the public we serve at the school level, dili kay sila dagko og mga transaction gipangayo from our schools. No? So this is simple transaction refers to the applications or requests submitted by applicants or requesting parties of a government office or agency which duly require ministerial action on the part of the public officer or employee, or that which present only inconsequential issues for the resolution by an officer or employee of the said government office. So kani simple transaction kada bang madesiran lang sa personnel nga imong gi-assign. Simple transaction. So next please. About the processing time, it is the time consumed by all government offices and agencies covered under Section 3 of this Act from the acceptance of an application or request with complete requirements, accompanying documents and payments of fees up to the issuance of certification or such similar document approving or disapproving an application or request. Please remember of the processing time, because we will use this processing time, we will use again this processing time when we will craft our Citizens Charter or the services that we provide to the general public. Yeah. For processes that involve several stages, each stage shall have its own processing time. The processing time commences on the time and date that the applicant has satisfactorily completed the previous stages and all the requirements of the stage being applied for and has paid the applicable fees if any, if there is a fee required. So again, processing time, let's take note of that. Next slide, please. Okay, this is now the template. I hope that this template is very familiar to you so that we will be able to accomplish this template easily. No? If you have this template, notice that we have the logo, such citizen starter, the pandemic version. If you are as change the logo for your respective school or district. So this template is intended for the division office. Now, of course, we have the title of Frontline Service. We do services to our students and teachers and the general public. So, kanang frontline services ang pinakasimpulan na kanang bitang services that you can provide to the community or to your internal stakeholders that can be completed within at least 1 day or less than a day or few minutes or few hours. Now, notice that in this part, in this template, we have to identify the frontline service, schedule of availability of the service, who may avail of the service, what are the requirements, and how long will the service be completed. Now, how to avail of the service? Of course, there is the step 1, 2, 3, 4 as described in the previous slide. This is the processing, the different steps in processing the request. And then applicant, of course, what are supposed to be the activities of the applicant or clients, and the service provider kita sa eskwelahan, and the duration of activity under normal condition. It is highlighted that this is under normal condition, how long can you process this request, and the person in charge, and the fees and the form. Now, for us to better understand this template, let's have one example. Nindot man ta gyud kung no kana face to face kay kanang mag-actual man din ta og tan-aw what are the frontline services that you are providing to our community, to our stakeholders. For example, the simplest one, I chose the simplest one because we commonly release the certificate of good moral character to our graduates from either grade elementary or high school. Kay may mga eskwelahan nga upon enrollment binag, if we will proceed to a private school, they will be requiring us to submit a certificate of good moral character. Now, if this frontline service is provided to your public, to the general public or to your graduates or to your internal stakeholders of a particular school, kung sa may schedule of activity, on sa who may avail of the service, what are the requirements and the duration. Example, so schedule of activities, this is available from Monday to Friday. Now, who may avail of the service? The parents and the students. It depends on the frontline service that you are providing, you are giving to the publics that you serve. No? Yeah, what are the requirements? The fill out request form provided by the school. Take note that this is provided by the school. It's not, we will do away with the request that's coming from the one. Well, there is the request, but if you are going to design a template or a form for this purpose, masayon sa atong client pag transact business with us. Nya, for duration, hours or minutes, unsa man kadugay, no? Nga makahimahimo ni nato. Now, click second, please. Now, I'm going to outline one after the other lang. I'm going to illustrate to you how to accomplish this form if you have not used this one in the previous years. No? I know that you already have the citizen charter because this is a requirement para maka-claim ta og PBB, but kanang for this purpose, atong activity, for this exercise, I would like to outline to you how to prepare this form. If you are providing the certificate of good moral character and as requested by the concerned parties, what are the activities that these requesting parties are expected to do? Number one, of course, mangayo sila og form from the school. Yeah. Kay requirement man na siya, fill out request form provided by the school. So, moingon din dito nga, mangayo unta mig certificate of good moral character. Nya, pag na moingon din ta nga, sige ka na fill up ring form. Tagaan ang applicant og form nga iyang fill upan mo ni siyang inikaman i-submit yang filled out request form. Notice that this is not yet part of the process. This is not yet part of the process because these are the preliminary activities that the requesting party should should complete before proceeding to the availment of the service. Now, the applicant client, after filling out the forms, so the applicant or the client will now submit the filled out request form to the service provider. Click please. So the service provider, this is our school personnel already. So the applicant submits filled out request form to the service provider, and the service provider accepts the process filled out form, and the next is unsa man kadugay si service provider nga modawat o mo-process sa request for good moral character. So I just assume that this is just to receive the filled out form and process. I just assign this that this will be completed within 3 minutes. The kinsa may person in charge muna ni. This is now the service provider as identified by the school or the school head o kinsa man ang appropriate authority nga mo designate niya. So the name of the designated personnel, for example, if you have so ang pangutana ni in a particular school, who is supposed to be the person designated to act on this request? Kung naatay maybe tingali ang guidance no or ang registrar or kinsay available, as long as he or she is designated by the school head or the appropriate person in authority. So this is the name of the person designated to accept and to provide service for this particular request. Fees na may bayad? O tay bayad no? Kung tay bayad aning mga tatag ka ng good moral characters ng mga bata. Na fees none. Form request form. So this request form will be provided by the school. Muna siya fill-upan sa requesting party. Now, when the applicant or the client submits the filled out request form and accepted by the school, what is supposed to be the next activity of the client? Wala na. No. Maghuwat na lang siya na ma-approve ang iyang request. Now, kinsa may ma-approve ang request, of course, if the good moral character, most likely ang mo-approve ni ang principal. Pero if the school is kanang dako kayo, tendency is the principal would designate a personnel who will sign the good moral character. But let's take up, for example, if the school head signs or approves the request, unsa ka kadugayon under normal condition pag-attach, pag-affix sa signature sa principal, 1 hour, 1 day, or 1 minute. I presume that it's under normal condition, approving the request with your signature is it will just take 1 minute or less. And of course, the person in charge will be the principal because the principal is authorized, the only authorized official to sign any document from or is issued by the particular school. Nya pila may bayad ni ma'am nga o sir nga ni pirma? Wala. So free of charge, wala. Unsa may form? Walay form because ang form nga gigamit mo naman gipadagan kani. Now, next. Unsa may activity na sa doon sa applicant? Ang applicant mo receive na lang sa certificate of good moral character from the issuing party, which is the school. So, submit siya niya mo dawat, that ends the transaction. Now, if we will look at the duration of activity, pila man siya ka minutes under normal condition, ato ni ibutang sa duration is babaw. So, with this simple example, we can see that it will only take 3 minutes to accept and process, and 1 minute to approve. So, ang ato ibutang sa babaw is 4 minutes. Of course, there is this one under normal condition. So, the duration that we will reflect here is 4 minutes, meaning when we publish our Frontline Services request for the certificate of good moral character in this particular school will only take 4 minutes from processing to receiving. So, muna sa yung naka-importante sa Citizens Charter. And I know that there are other services that the school provides for all our students and teachers. Daghan pa ni siya ng mga certification na pwede. So, depende sa request. So, this illustrates kung saan pag-fill up ang atuang Citizens Charter template for this particular request. Of course, the duration of activity varies from one request to another. Labi na sa unsay lang kung kuan ba siya, this is just a simple transaction. Nya complex ba siya or the other one, no? But in our school system, what we always do is just a kind of simple request from the community for us to approve or disapprove. So I think that ends with the Citizen Charter. Ako lang tingaling reminder nato is that please provide the division office, especially the SGOD, with a copy of your amended Citizen Charter in preparation for the evaluation of our schools and our teachers for the eligibility of the performance-based bonus. Okay, ang PBB is real. Okay, so after the Citizen Charter, I will proceed to the procurement activities that we have had and we are still undergoing at the division level. I would like to share first that the update on the procurement of basic educational facilities fund repair of classrooms. So there were 8 as what was relayed to you in the previous executive conference. Muna siyang walo ka buok, please locate the name of your school because these were the 8 priority schools nga gihatag og budget sa DepEd for repair purposes. So unsa ba itong status ani? Ang status ani is that this is already for umana ang bidding niya for contract signing na ni siya kay umana ang post qualification. So maybe this week or next week will be the signing of the contract for these projects. So pag-apabot na lang magpaabot na lang taning mga project ang Turil Elementary School, Tawala Elementary School, Santo Rosario Elementary School, Bugo Elementary School, Kabasakan Elementary School, Kayakay Elementary School, Batuan Central Elementary School, and Ticom Elementary School. Magpaabot na lang mga one of these days na ay mga nana din na ang contractor for repair sa inyong eskwelahan because in very soon, the contract will be signed by no less than our Sports Division Superintendent, Dr. Bianito Gidagatan, in the presence of the procurement team. Okay, so other procurement activities include the following: supply and delivery of radio sets with USB for kindergarten. We heard Dr. Restifica mention about that there were districts and schools who received the radio sets with USB for kindergarten. Now, doon na sa itong gi-procure, and again, contract signing, the resolution to award was already completed on August 9, 2021, and the contract signing will be very soon. So, nanatay RTA, this is for the kindergarten, this for kindergarten in the amount of 1,257,600 pesos, and this is intended for again kindergarten, no? Natin mga sets of kuanan eh. Yeah. Number 2 is that supply and delivery of health kits for kindergarten to grade 6 learners under fiscal year 2020 school dental health care program for 52,500 learners, and these are for grade 6 learners. So kinder to grade 6 learners, ongoing post qualification. And we have to ongoing post-qua, so we're not yet done post-qua, but at least nahuman natas bidding, resolution toward we follow on contract signing until, and very soon you can receive the health kits for kindergarten to grade 6. Next. Number 3 is basic educational facilities electrification of unenergized schools and modernization of electrical system on grid schools batch 2. This is specifically for Dawes National High School, and there you have it, that the contract signing will be very soon because we already have completed the bidding and the post-qualification. There is now the resolution to award on August 9, and the contract signing will follow. And number 4 is the construction of one-story, two-classroom school building with common toilet, with provision of rainwater collector, school furniture, solar photovoltaic energy system, and heat water system under the calendar year 2020 Last Mile Schools program for Mahayahay High School, Talibon, Bohol. Congratulations, Mahayahay High School, because very soon you will have your school building. Kinaay, naaning tanan, apil ang saningan, kanang solar panels to be installed in your school. Now, we are still in the process of in the procurement process. We have extended our pre-bidding conference and supposedly today, but we will have it tomorrow in the morning, and then after compliance, because this is only one project, so it's easier and faster for us to facilitate now, so that we can speed up the implementation of this project, which is the construction of one-story, two-classroom building for Mahayahay National High School, Talibon, Bohol. So that ends for the procurement. Now the RPMS, the Resource-Based Performance Management System, balik sa ta, Sir Ken. I am not preparing inputs and inputs for this because this is not new to us. This is just a reminder that we successfully ended school year 2020 to 2021. Then at this point in time, we are already evaluating the performance of our teachers, and of course the principals and deputy officials na humanatanyari. So this is just to remind you that as we completed the RPM cycle for that particular year, we are also now going to start the phase 1 of our RPMS formulation, which is the goal setting and target setting for the school year 2021-2022. So that by the start of the school year, ready na tayo mo pa-approve sa itong resource-based performance management system targets, IPCRF and OPCRF, to the respective offices where it will be submitted for approval. So again, reminding the field that as we ended the previous performance rating period, we will also start with the next year of implementation and the next year of IPCRF and OPCRF, and submit it to the respective offices where your RPMS will be approved, validated, where your targets will be approved for the school year. And before I end, next slide please. I would like to thank these people for making my stay comfortable in Loyo Primary School, where I spent my 5-day quarantine in compliance with the Provincial Executive Order number 40 series of 2021. So, daghang salamat and good afternoon to all of us.
Okay, thank you so much to our beloved ASDS, Dr. Danilo G. Gudelosao. Let's give our virtual applause to Sir Danny.